And so the first thing I did when I got here, it was like, I don't need to pledge a frat or anything. Check out the radio station.
My whole college experience can be summarized in one word, and that's WONY. Everything I did was related to WONY.
Once you come to WONY, it stays in you. I was at the station more than I was at class, more than I was downtown, more than I did anything.
WONY is about the people, you know, so like whoever's here, that's what it's going to be like. There's never going to be a set culture, which is part of what makes radio great. Like, it's always going to change.
So it was nice to be able to come in here, kind of just let loose, play whatever music I wanted before class. A good way to start the day.
We just had a ball. It was very much a social center of the college experience.
Generally, what WNY attracts is it's the weird fucks. It's the group of misfits that kind of have banded together and created something really great. And that's what I think of when I think of WNY. I think of the people who, the general odds and ends and people who didn't quite fit in here, don't really quite fit in here, don't have a place to really go to. They come here and this is where they feel most comfortable.
You're listening to WONY 90.9, Oneonta, New York, celebrating 50 years of broadcasting at Oneonta State.
We have about 150 DJs that have come back this year, from as early as '63 up to present day. Folks that graduated last year that had such a great time are back to visit again and get back on the air.
Because of the friendships and the camaraderie and the great times they had when they were on WONY.
It's really nice to see my friends from WONY. The radio station has grown in leaps and bounds since I was here. It's really kind of fun to see everything as it has changed over the years.
We always know that come springtime there's the WONY reunion and you're able to contact and stay in touch with your friends.
There are a lot of folks that haven't been back to Oneonta since they graduated decades ago, that heard that it was WONY's 50th birthday and they were coming back just for that. That hadn't been in Oneonta, let alone the radio station, since they graduated in the 70s or 80s that are back this year.
People from our class here, from people graduate 04, 05, 06, 07, are all still great friends. We come back almost every year. We meet up in the city every year for WONY halfway reunion weekend.
Half the people that were on the roster when I graduated, I still talk to regularly. And they're a big part of my life. And WNY will always be a big part of my life.
You know, it could be a DJ that is going to graduate in 4 years that just started here at the station but is starting to enjoy what they're doing, and they find somebody from the 60s, all of a sudden they have a conversation. You know, it could be a guy that's old enough to be somebody's father. Right away, there's something totally in common. It's the same brotherhood, the same fellowship. We have the same stories.
It doesn't matter, you know, whether you're 24 years old or 65 years old, all part of WONY.
You know, my daughter didn't come this year because she tells me, Daddy, you know, when you go up there, you guys talk about the same things over and over again with different people. Yeah, you know, that's the station's history, and it's not going to change, and we like to talk about it. You know, it is the same story as retold in, you know, many different ways. We were joking downstairs that this weekend in particular, there are so many past general managers, program directors, news directors, right down the line, that are all here. It's kind of took like Sopranos and took the big heads from all the different families and sent them into one basement to hang out and talk to each other. Here we are.
To me, college radio is a wonderful springboard for the rest of your life. There are just so many different skills that come to bear in college radio. The ability to articulate, the ability to conceptualize, the ability to imagine something and be able to communicate, to translate that mental picture that you have to any number of other folks that you can't see.
And that's where you get, genuine emotion, you get genuine interest, and that's why college radio is that kind of scattershot but always more interesting platform. And you're going to get more from that.
That it does give you that a chance for expression and creativity that you otherwise would not have.
It's the way in which bands who are not well known, who are up-and-coming bands, get played. Commercial radio has always had, it's not anything new, has always had fairly restricted playlists.
I don't know, WONY has been one of those things that it got me where I am today. It started me on having a social life, for one. I owe WONY the job that I have right now, producing radio in Boston. I'm not using my degree from here, I'm using WONY. So WONY was a better education in some ways than all the classes I went to.
I think the number one thing that I got out of WONY was finding my voice as a person. Gaining confidence, hearing the sound of your own voice, and authenticating it at a young age is a powerful elixir. And I always recommend to anybody who asks me about how to get into this business, what's the first thing you should do? And I always tell them, walk down to the college radio station and get your butt on the air all the time. Because even if you don't want to go into broadcasting, it builds your confidence just to hear your own opinions authenticated. So you get to try them out. And when you get to try them out, you get to sift through what's good and bad. That's the whole idea of being a person in college. Why are you a college student? Try out your ideas, check them out, see if they work, if they don't work. To be able to do it on the radio, have listeners, get that kind of feedback. It's like being in class on steroids.
I came to Oneonta to become the world's next greatest actor. I wandered into the clubs and orientation meeting. The WONY guys that were there, I think the entire staff, which was like 4, all made a pitch to get people to be DJs to go on the air, and I found it fascinating. And it can best be summarized by saying I walked into the college radio station one day and I sort of have never left.
Many of us thought that Oneonta itself was a bit, not the college, but the area was a bit gray. But WONY was a bright spot, and that helped me even stay in college. I probably might have transferred out if it wasn't for the connection with the radio station.
When I came here, it was like an underdog club. And then, by the time I was a junior, we were winning Media Club of the Year and doing all these great events around campus. It seemed like we got out there more. When I was here, we were going like this, and it's still going. If you bar graphed WONY, it would be an upward slope.
The main memory is just doing my show. There's nothing like being on the radio, being able to play whatever you want, being able to say almost whatever you want.
Cultural station was crazy. It was jumping. We had everybody here. It was like it was hard to get on the radio. There were a lot of people into it. Everybody listened to it. It was always played on the radio in your campus dorm room. It was definitely it to be part of the radio station.
Coming down kind of as a see what we can do here, and then being greeted with these stories of gross acts of indecency and people talking about the Pixies and the Simpsons and all these things in the same conversation, and thinking I've met a family of punks here, a fucking batch of pirates.
I wish it never ended. There are sometimes I come back up to the station and it feels like you never left.
So I was more of a Motown's guy, or even they had us playing Frank Sinatra and Tony Bennett. But when a record, I Want to Hold Your Hand from the Beatles, I figured this group's never gonna make it, so I threw that record away.
I hope to God that this station lasts for another 50 years. I hope that people love the station as much as the 159 people that are here for Alumni Weekend obviously do. If there is anything that you can take with you when you leave school, is WONY. They say you can't go back home again. This is the only place that I can come home to in my past years that I feel like I'm home. When I walk in the doors at WONY, even if I don't know a soul, it feels like I'm home.
I love WONY. I always will. WONY's definitely, you know, this will sound corny, that WONY's inside of me will never go away.
What would you like to say to WONY?
Thanks.
Gotta get
Yeah, thanks.